So I start from where I left last week with respect to what are not patentable in India as per the Indian Patents Act. So we talked about section 3 and section 4 and section 35. These are the three sections where it talks about what are not patentable in India. So let me start with section 3A. So here we are going to deal with a lot of case laws I'm going to discuss now. That so that if I discuss what are not patentable, what is patentable becomes easier for you to understand. So I'm going to give more explanation onto what are the things which are not patentable under section 3. Now, section 3A, frivolous inventions. That is, there is an application. Of course, the patent was not granted. This is an application for an innovative and modern idli format for easy packaging and consumption. A patent application was filed with the Patent Office Chennai with an abstract of an idli with a bite-sized form factor, a bite-sized form factor that can be eaten with a fork, toothpick, chopsticks, or such simple cutlery. In addition, there was a cavity built in the idli to fill in the chutney or the powder, whatever it is. So it was just a bite-sized idli, maybe whatever you call it as a mini idlis, which you would see. Somebody wanted a patent for this. How can you allow such kind of a patent to go on? So this is a frivolous patent. So we cannot allow a patent like this because idli is no novelty. See, if you recollect last week, I said the essential three conditions for the patent to be granted is novelty or newness. I mean, it should be new or novelty. Then the inventive step, and then the inventive step or the non-obviousness and industrial application. There should be a commercial use. These are the three essential factors, and even the patent office, I told you, evaluates and examines the patent applications based on these aspects. So the first one is the new or novelty. So it gets killed there itself. There is no new or novelty in this particular thing because idli is a common thing known to everybody. There can be no novelty in that. Then what is the inventive step he has done? The inventive steps should be substantive. The inventive steps should not be a workshop improvement. That is what we learned last week. So it's building a cavity and making the size small is not an invention at all. So it gets cancelled in that. And third one is, as you know, the industrial application. Of course, there is a commercial use for idlis. So everybody consumes. I mean, if you look at it, millions of idlis would be consumed every day. So that's not an issue. So the point is, this is a frivolous invention. So this was not allowed by the patent office. Okay. Now, second one is, let us talk about section 3B. Earlier I talked about section 3A. Section 3B is talks about inventions contrary to public order or morality. So here the case law, what I am quoting is from Harvard College versus Canada with respect to patent for this was known as Harvard oncology. I mean, it's a cancer treatment. So whatever the drugs they developed, they were injecting this mice with this thing, and they were subjecting to cruelty of the mice. Not only mice, as you know, the drug trials will also happen before putting into the human body. The trials, they will also check it on the animals, how the reaction is there, and then they will look into that. So this was a method of producing transgenic animals. They modify the genes, and then the case was, a patent was filed there. And of course, there was a lot of controversy of cruelty being given to the animals, etc., etc. Finally, the court, the European Patent Office opined that in addition to mice, they should not add anything else to the testing process. So the patent was granted with a limitation that it should not allow anybody to test the thing other than the mice. So because it is contrary to the public order or morality, so that's a context in which this was taken up. So there was another thing which was basically numbering of the banknotes and other things. which was basically a method and device for controlling the position of the numbering wheels of a numbering device. This was an application number in Delhi 1375 in 2009. It was observed that the invention used in printing presses for carrying out numbering of printed documents, especially banknotes and the like securities, could be contrary to public order or morality as per section 3B. So 3B, I given two case laws. One is the Harvard Morse case law and the other one is this Delhi application where they had a numbering device. The numbering device was basically taking care of printing a number, additional number on the banknotes and other documents, which is contrary to the public order. So that is why they are not given this particular patent. Now, third, section 3C talks about, as we said, discoveries of scientific principles and natural phenomena. See, just to be clear about it, patent law is a little bit technical. So it has got so many technologies like electronic technology, chemical technology, biotechnology, and engineering technology, mechanical engineering technology, everything is there. So we have to be a little bit technical orientation needs to be there so that I may talk about all those things. But if somebody has a question about any of these things, you can always pose it to me at the last during the question answer session. So I'll be able to take up and explain you, even if something is required with respect to technology arena. So section 3C says discoveries of scientific principle and natural phenomena cannot be considered as a patent. I mean, it is not patentable. So in the Funk Brothers Seed Company versus Calvert-Nucleon, discovery of the fact that certain strains of each species of bacteria can be mixed without harmful effects to the properties of either is a discovery of their qualities of non-emission. This is not patentable. So they discovered that certain strains of each species of bacteria is not poisonous. I mean, it's not harmful. So that does not mean it can be allowed to be. This is only a discovery. It is not an invention. See, as I said last week, we can go and find a new moon. That the other moon may be revolving around this present moon. We don't know. But you are only discovering that. You are not inventing that. That is where is the human ingenuity in that. You are only discovering what is existent already. So any discoveries of scientific things cannot be patented. Now let us go into the section 3D. I think elaborately I discussed about section 3D last week. Section 3D is basically about mere discovery of a new form of a known substance, which does not result in the enhancement of the known efficacy of the substance, is not patentable. One of the famous landmark cases, Novartis versus Union of India, section 3D was held constitutional. See, the Gleevec is a cancer curing drug, which the Novartis company obtained a patent in US, and they were selling a monthly dose at about $2,000 in the US. The same medicine in 2005, when India signed the TRIPS agreement, there was a exclusive marketing arrangement. I told you about EMR, exclusive marketing arrangement, which was the exclusive marketing rights or exclusive marketing arrangement was there. Through that route, they wanted to sell this cancer drug at a cost of about $200 per dose. So the $200 per dose was very high, but at the same time, the Indian drug manufacturers were also making this particular drug. It is known as Initab mesylate is the chemical name of that. This particular drug and the brand name of Gleevec was also sold by other Indian pharma manufacturers, and it was priced lower. So Novartis wanted to stop that and wanted to gain the market share for this patented product. So they appealed to the people, but the product patent was not granted at that point of time. Later on, when the parliament passed the thing, then Novartis taken up this case with Madras High Court, Honorable Madras High Court, stating that the section 3D was unconstitutional. So it was dealt with it, and then the government also was looking at giving a compulsory license. We'll deal with what is a voluntary license and compulsory license as we go through. So the compulsory license means, even though it is a new technology, this thing, if the government thinks it is in the interest of the public, they have to make the invention available to the public at an affordable price. They can invoke the provisions of the compulsory licensing. That is what it means. So the government wanted to invoke that also in this case of Novartis. But unfortunately, even before they could do it, the court, the High Court of Madras, has said it is held it as constitutional, and the patent for the product patent for this Gleevec drug was not given, was not granted to Novartis. Okay, there are several cases like that. Section 3 has got, Section 3D is mainly, you will find a bunch of pharmaceutical patents getting rejected in Section 3D as well as 3E. These are the two categories where the patent pharma patents have to pass through. So we as patent agents, when we write the patent application and we write the pass through the patent examiner, we have to ensure that it passes through Section 3D as well as 3E. Yeah, 3E, if you can see here, the next one, it's admixture of substances. Okay, the admixture of substances prohibits the grant of a patent on substances obtained by a mere admixture resulting only in aggregation of the properties of the components thereof, or a process of producing such substance. So a claim must show that the interaction between the components involved in the invention achieves a combined effect, which is different from the sum total of the effects of the individual substances. Meaning, I put 2-3 chemical compounds in a particular proportion. It is not just a mixture of it in a particular soluble item or something like that, or a tablet which is containing all these 3 chemicals added together and then given. Each one has got individual characteristics, but unless it interacts, it interacts with the other component and reacts and becomes a new reactant, and there is a improved efficiency over the individual thing, then only it can be granted a patent. So when I talked about 3D I said it's of importance in the pharmaceutical patents. 3E is also after 2005. Once 1995 we signed the TRIPS agreement. It came into effect in 2005. Our amendment acts of 2002 and 2005. Now so many amendments have come till October 2020. We have a lot of amendments to the Patent Act. Now, when the amendment came, this particular Section 3E also enabled patents for food items, food products. So that also comes into category, because today somebody can say I'm making a our regular form of adai mix. What does adai mix comes? It contains a turdal, thorambarpu, it contains kadalaparpu, it contains rice, it contains whatever the condiments, spices, everything put together. Whether that when you mix it up as a powder form, does it give the effect of the batter you are making at home? Whether it reacts, grinds into paste. When you add the water, does it make the same property? All those things have to be significant. That is why the point number 3, if you can see, the invention should be able to show an unforeseen synergistic effect. So all the components should form a synergy into that, rather than a mere additive effect, a mere additive effect. So A plus B should not be equal to A plus B. As you see that equation, A is individually added, B is individually added. It is nothing but A plus B added together. So that is what is known as additive effect. It is not a synergistic effect. So when compared to Section 3, I'm going in depth into the Section 3 to explain you more. So it should be a synergistic effect rather than a mere additive effect. This is another application in the Mumbai Patent Office by Lincoln Pharmaceuticals. It was basically a pharmaceutical formulation for paracetamol injection. Many of us would be taking a paracetamol just like that with water. Okay. Now this application was rejected on multiple grounds, including this ground 3E. The reason being, it was specifically stated in the application that glycopherol and alcohol are individually known to be soluble paracetamol. So it was imperative to provide comparative data to show the synergistic effect. See, when you are making an injection, what are you doing? You are adding an alcohol and and the paracetamol. It's a known drug, and you are just injecting it, and instead of taking it through mouth with water, the water is mixed with the paracetamol drug, and then you are injecting it. It is achieved through the combination of a solvent only. The alcohol uses as a solvent. Okay, so it is not an invention under admixture of substances. So you are only adding a water and as a powder and then trying to say, oh, I've invented. That is not the case. Now, as I said, after 2005, plenty of food products were given patents. One such thing is wheat chocolate bar for sustained energy release. So wheat chocolate bar for sustained release is a IN patent number. This is a patent number. Patent is normally represented IN 229291. So this means this is the Indian patent number. You can go into the Indian Patent Office, IPO office website. You can put this number. You can see the entire application. You can see the claim, what all the components which they have used, what all the proportion they have used in the wheat chocolate, how much of cocoa they have put, how much of wheat they have put, how it is giving the sustained energy. That is a sufficiency of disclosure will be there in the document. Then only the patent is granted. So wheat chocolate bar for sustained energy release, one patent granted. Similarly, a fermentation process for production of tender coconut wine. This is another patent granted in IN 209015. And similarly, fried banana masala chips making process, not the chips as a product. So if you make chips as a product, then it becomes the monopoly of some one individual. So it is the process of making fried banana masala chips has been patented. So as I said, process patent or a product patent can be done. Here they have not allowed product patent. Instead, it was a process patent which was allowed for making fried banana masala chips. Now, this is quite interesting thing with respect to section E, because when I said admixture of the thing cannot be there, but this also you'll have to look into it. It's a very interesting invention, very interesting invention by a homemaker, Pune-based homemaker Shubhangi Patil. She was granted a patent for her unique ragi walnut soup. Ragi walnut soup mix composition, which is application number 2016-210-34764. The mix claims to combine ragi, which is a finger millet, and walnut to create a nutrient-rich substitute for non-vegetarian foods containing calcium, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which can be used to treat vitamin 12 deficiency. See, ragi and walnut, when you mix in a particular proportion and make it as a soup, it gives a combination of a vegetarian food for the vegetarian people to take it to overcome the vitamin B12 deficiency. So this is what is efficacy. She invented the soup out of necessity owing to her husband's health condition, which needed him to consume products rich in foods such as eggs and meats, whereas he preferred only vegetarian food. So when he was a vegetarian food, she thought about it because she invented it. See, invention is mother of necessity. That is what people say. So as you know, the invention is mother of necessity. So it was her necessity. She can't give a meat or egg to her husband who is only a vegetarian. So she thought about how to improve on the vitamin B12 deficiency. She combined the finger millet and walnut and brought out a soup. So here there is a synergistic effect where it is not an additive effect. She is not just adding ragi and this thing. She is making it as a synergistic effect to make this. All these inventive steps were examined and scrutinized by the patent office thoroughly, and after that only this was granted, right? Then we go into the section 3F. So I have completed up to 3E. Now we are going into section 3F. So 3F talks about arrangement of known devices. So arrangement of known devices, for example, you had a printer earlier. Now the moment you have a printer, you attach a scanner to it. You attach a document scanner to it. Can it become a new invention? No. By itself, both are different. You know, there is a scanner available separately. There is a printer available separately. You are combining both and then calling it arrangement of known devices and then calling it as a new invention. It cannot be called as a new invention. It can be called as a utility patent or utility invention. It has a utility value, not a creative value. So what is an invention? Invention has to come out of the human creativity or human ingenuity, which is supposed to be there. You just add two things and make a utility part of it. The utility is not an invention. So this is what is the thing. But one of the interesting case laws, one of the first decided case laws, which is Vishwanath Prasad Radheshyam versus Hindustan Metal Industries. It was decided in 1978. After the Patent Act came into effect 1970. Actually, the case dates back to prior to 1970 Patent Act, because 1970 Patent Act came into force only in 1972. This case was using the British law, Patents and Designs Act 1911. Under that particular law, this case was handled. finally the court had decided, Supreme Court had decided and given a judgment that for a patent to be patentable, the improvement or combination must result in a new, must produce a new result or a new article. Okay, than the before article, than the article before. So if you have an article and you want to improve on it, you should not do a workshop improvement. You should have an inventive step added to that. So a combination of different matters already known should be something more than a mere workshop improvement, must independently satisfy the test of invention and or an inventive step. In this case, what was done was they were making these vessels. You would have seen all these, the utensils people we use in the houses, like earlier days we used to use this brass and copper utensils. Once the brass and copper utensils are made finally, after the molding and everything, it will be looking dark. They have to do a polishing kind of a thing and put a design of line or some designs on that. So this process was done using a motorized mechanism. What happened was, earlier this particular thing, one person was doing this in a factory. He was not having any mechanism of removing it because the vessels were thrown out from the motor after the process is done. So that was resulting in injury to the people. So how to avoid that? The other person thought about it. What he did was, he did nothing great. He added one sack, gunny bag, so that the flying vessel is caught in the sack. That was the only improvement he has done. So how can you say that this is an invention that was not granted? So this is an important case law. You can say this is one of the first case laws in patent which was decided by the court in a very clear, unambiguous way. Okay. Now, we have also seen last week that the section 3H of the Patent Act says a method of agriculture or horticulture cannot be patented. So, a Plant Advanced Technologies, it was a PCT national base application. It's a foreign company. The applicant claimed a process in which plant was genetically modified by transformation and protein was expressed in the digestive secretion of genetically modified plant. Cultivation of plant, growing of the plant, harvesting fluid from the trap was considered as a method of agriculture. Hence, it was not patentable invention as per section 3H. Here, in this case, section 3J also is applicable for rejecting the patent claim. So it was not rejected on 3H alone. There is a 3J also which is there. I will go through that after this particular thing. So in 3J, it talks about only genetically modified bacterium is allowed. Genetically modified plant or animals or human beings is not patentable. It's very clear. Our patent law is very clear on that. So this particular application he was genetically modifying that thing and biologically cultivating that thing to harvest the fluid from it. So this was not considered as a method of agriculture or horticulture under section 3H. Also under 3J, it was rejected. So let us talk about section 3I. So section 3I talks about any process for the medicinal, surgical, curative, diagnostic, therapeutic, or other treatment of human beings, or any process for a similar treatment of animals to render them free of disease or to increase their economic value or that of their products. Okay. See, normally the people people used to say they give some injections or something to the chicks and make them to grow in weight. So that is what we mean by increase their economic value. Whether it is a goat or sheep or the animals, you try to do some process of treating the animal so that it gains weight in a shorter duration or something like that. It may be a medicinal process, it should be a surgical process, or it could be a curative process, or it could be a therapeutic process. Whatever process you do to make the animal increase their economic value is not correct. Even while selling the meat, people say they take an injection and they inject water into it, to increase the weight. These are the things which are normally happens, but that is all much lower and stuff. What we do is, we cannot do a method. A doctor cannot patent his surgical method. A doctor may have a cardiologist for that matter. He may proceed with one particular way of doing things. Another cardiologist, he may also be an interventional cardiologist. He may intervene in a different way, and he will handle it. Maybe a valve replacement has to be done. One person may approach it from the left side, another person may be approaching it from the right side. It depends on the doctor's confidence and his skill sets. And it cannot be patented by him. Once he does that, because it plays around with human life. So you cannot do that patenting of any other thing. Even diagnostic tests cannot be patented because it is for the welfare of the people which has to be taken. So these are the things which are not to be done. So the therapeutic methods and pharmaceutical composition for treating warts with tellurium compounds. This was a patent number 3044 in Chennai Patent Office in 2006. The claims as originally filed were directed to treating warts. Warts and the maroons warts and which warts and using a tellurium compound, treating them with tellurium compounds. The claims were amended. Later on, the claims amended to include the pharmaceutical composition during the examination process. He said tellurium solitary. Then later on, he gave the composition of that particular tellurium compound. So the essence of the invention did not describe that tellurium containing compound is able to treat huge variety of diseases claiming. So rejected the application under section 21J, 3E and 3I. So these were the sections under which it was rejected. Similarly, in 7831 in Delhi, the claims were directed for a combination composition of ibuprofen and paracetamol, known drug. This is basically pain reliever drug, ibuprofen and paracetamol. Fixing of doses for treatment are treated as a method of treatment under section 3I of the Act. So method of treatment, see what he says is, I'm giving a combination drug. It contains this combination of this much ibuprofen, this much combination of paracetamol, this much milligrams of paracetamol, this much milligram of ibuprofen. This is used for method of treating so and so pain or so and so this thing like that. They were trying to get the practice. But what the section 3 of the Act says is, it is a part of the medical practitioner prerogative, since it is in his assessment of the patient's age, state of condition, etc., by which practitioner decides what quantum and frequency of dosage should be given. So dosage claims or combination compound was not permitted under 3I. So this is also a method of administering the drug. So the medicinal, when I say any process for the medicinal drug or a method of administering a drug cannot be patented because the dosage combinations cannot be patented. So this is another thing which we discussed right now. Plants and animals in whole or any part thereof other than microorganism, but including seeds, varieties and species and essentially biological processes for production or propagation of plants and animals. Okay. What happens is, now we have in the modern days, you find a lot of products which are coming through the BT process, BT cotton, BT brinjal, BT mustard, everything. What are these? These are genetically modified products. So when I say BT, BT stands for Bacillus thuringiensis. I am also not a technical person in this particular thing, in a biology or something, or biotechnology, but still it's a bacillus, it's a bacterium, Bacillus thuringiensis. So this bacteria's thing, what happens is, if you put this, it is a gene sequencing thing. If you put this particular thing into the cotton seeds, okay, what happens is when this cotton grows, there used to be a bollworm pest infection which will come into that. So the cotton yield will go down. So in order to avoid the pest infection, this particular BT, Bacillus thuringiensis, is injected into that by sequencing, gene sequencing. And when it grows, no pest will attack it. So the yield will be more. That is what is the expectation. But what happens is, over a period of time, the pest can get immunity against these things. They may develop tolerance over this particular BT, and then they may again attack. Then again the yield will go down. That is why we talk about more of organic farming. We don't want genetic engineering. We don't want genetically modified, but we need genetically modified bacterium to prepare vaccinations for us. Whether it is a polio vaccine or whether it is other vaccine, even a COVID vaccine, what are we doing? We are taking the COVID-19 virus the coronavirus, weakened virus in a covaxin, which they had taken. It's basically nothing but a weakened virus of that. They are genetically modified it. It will not replicate like other virus. I mean, if the original virus, if you have contaminated, if it has infected you, it will multiply. It will replicate by itself. Whereas in the vaccine, they produce only a weakened, replica virus of that. So it will not have that genetically modified microorganism. So therefore, it will not replicate itself. But it develops the antibodies in your body to build the immunity. So that is what we have learned in this recent COVID also. So same thing when you are, but that is allowed because microorganisms allowed because it is going to safeguard the human life, or even animals, or if you are injecting animals with certain diseases, etc., it is allowing that. But when you are modifying the genes of the seeds or the plants and allowing it to propagate, then it is not patentable. One of the reasons was Monsanto had patented a technology for BT cotton seeds. Now, Nuziweed Seeds Limited was the agency which took up the patented technology. They had a US patent and they applied in India. And Nuziweed Seeds took up this particular distribution of BT cotton seeds, and they were trying to sell it. But Monsanto demanded more and more money from Nuziweed Seeds, the license fee or whatever you call it as. So which they were not able to afford because of the yield and other factors from the farmers. So they said they went in for asking for a revocation of the patent. So the court held that seeds obtained by gene sequencing are not patentable according to Patent Act under Section 3J of the Act. So Section 3J of the Act talks about this particular thing. So this is one of the important cases. Delhi High Court, you can see Manupatra reference I have given there. So this is the case law for Section 3J. Now let's go into Section 3K. What is Section 3K? Section 3K says a mathematical or a business method or a computer program per se or algorithms. So it is not patentable. So Electronic Navigation Research Institute versus Controller General of Patents in 2013, the Intellectual Property Appellate Board IPAB passed a decision denying a patent to Electronic Navigation Research Institute for their invention that relates to a method of calculating chaos theoretical exponent value. They call it a CTEV. This particular invention was based on a mathematical method for solving mathematical equations. So therefore, it was rejected under Section 3K. Any mathematical formula, any way of mathematical, see, if you have an equation, it is an abstract subject. Anybody can solve that equation by different methods. You cannot patent a method and call it as your method. So it's not possible to say that this is a method which can be used. So solving mathematical equations or a business method of doing things, you cannot patent it under Section 3K. So we are covering more of what are not patentable. So we are running into the 6th page of what are not patentable under each and every section of the, because this section is very, very important with regard to patent law. Before even filing, because the patent prosecution, what we call it as a, when you apply for a patent and then process it through, we call it as a patent prosecution. When the patent prosecution, the first and foremost thing is the subject matter of patent is very, very important. And what are not patentable, if the patent attorney or the patent agent understands it, they'll be able to guide their client very clearly and then take it forward. Okay. Now, Section 3L. Section 3L is, it's a subject matter of copyright, like a literary, dramatic, musical, or artistic work, or any other aesthetic creation whatsoever, including cinematographic work and TV production, cannot be patented. It can be only copyrighted. So, in a colored disc jacket, it's a Fuji case. Fuji Electric, the Japanese company. The subject matter of the application question related to a flexible disc jacket made of plastic sheet presenting to the outside world. See, they made a plastic sheet presenting to the outside world, a surface color of certain minimum light intensity, very minimal light intensity. The feature of having a specific color, they had a very light red or pink color, I think, pink or light red color of having that particular thing did not constitute a technical feature, indicating that an object of device was entirely covered by the color. So the resistance to fingerprint was also purely aesthetic effect, which contributed nothing technical to the invention concerned. And the advantage of classification by color represented a non-technical effect in the form of presentation of information and hence as excluded from patentability, which means the Fuji company developed a cover for the flexible disk. That is your flexible disk, you know, it was old case, you would have seen the floppy disk. So for that, they made a beautiful cover, and the cover will not have the fingerprints. You cannot do, and the color had a very minimal coloring, light intensity color. So they said we have invented a cover which is a plastic sheet made of certain minimum color, light intensity color, and without fingerprint impression. All these things does not form part of your it is all aesthetic effect. So aesthetic effect automatically it goes into artistic work. It can be copyrighted under artistic work rather than a patent. So section 3M, we are talking about section 3M, where the section 3M, a mere scheme or rule or method of performing mental act or method of playing game cannot be patented. But in this case, I will say what was patented, I will tell you. This is a Pitman's application. So Pitman's application was nothing but a manner of new manufacture. That is, it was a method of teaching the pronunciation of a language, not merely an arrangement of printed words. Invention had mechanical purpose. Voice production may be functional purpose, appeal for allowed. See, in this case, what happened was the presentation was basically making you to learn the language. Where if you have seen the phonetics gives the audible sound. And similarly, when you are trying to read out, the emphasis should be given on certain words. Equity, when I say EQU, will have more emphasis. ITY will have less emphasis. Friends, FRI should have friends, that will have an emphasis. So what word should give emphasis, what word should be low? The sound, the voice production, how the words are pronounced. That was the method by way of printing their. It is basically a printed matter of printed sheet. Only thing is they superscripted the words. Half of the word will be superscripted. Where it has to be emphasized, it will be capital letters. Small letters will be non-emphasized. It will be superscripted. So people, when they read, they will be able to produce voice according to the phonetics of the language. It was only a printed matter of sheet, but this was granted a patent. Initially, it was not allowed. When they went in the appeal, it was granted a patent. Now, next comes your presentation of information. Sorry. A gift coupon. Somebody prints a nice gift coupon, or you have a bookmark. You have a bookmark which is there. In the bookmark, what happens? Normally, the company gives Amazon. You buy a book, they'll give a bookmark with Amazon online with advertisements, etc. This kind of thing is nothing but a presentation of information, like a 3M. Or if you go to a builder also, you may give, hey, this is my house. This is the gated community I'm building. This is a picture from this way, right way, left, right, and all that you may do. But all those things are presentation of information. For example, somebody marriage. Nowadays, people take beautiful photographs of the marriage, right from engagement onwards until the thing is there. So many, they call it by so many names and other things, youngsters, those things are there. And when the photographs are taken, they say they make what is known as a coffee table book. The format is coffee table book and all. It is basically a way of presenting your information. That's marriage has taken place. This is how it has been done. This is information. The occasion, it is presented in the form of a coffee book table, or whatever way you put it, album, or whatever you call it as. Now, this particular thing cannot be patented. So, patent system meant for protecting only one kind of creativity, that is technological creativity. The claimed invention is a business method and method of presenting information. It was not. Now let's go into section 3O. 3O is topography of integrated circuit. Topography of integrated circuit. There is a separate act known as Semiconductor Integrated Circuits Layout Design Act 2000 and Semiconductor Integrated Circuit Layout Design Rules 2001. So these two examine the layout designs of the ICs. There is integrated circuit. Integrated circuit is a key component in any of your devices we are using, whether it is a microprocessor, whether you call it as a i5 processor or i7 processor or i3 processor. it is an integrated circuit. When you say processor, it is an IC. i5 is an IC. i7 is an IC. i3 is an IC. Even your mobile phone, if you say Qualcomm Snapdragon, that processor, so and so 635, 720, like that they'll give the speed so and so. It is an integrated circuit. Now that integrated circuit will have what all the things? It will have a central processing unit. It will have a memory. It will have a memory in the sense RAM and ROM. Like your computer, you have the hard disk and your RAM. So that both the things will be there. Then there will be other interfaces for graphic, LCD interface. Then there will be interface for connecting to USB port, audio. All those things will be integrated in the integrated circuit. One integrated circuit will be able to do all the functions, multi-functions. Now there is a topology. There will be some original designs. Sometimes the original designs only are capable of being registered. Actually, this particular law had come into effect in 2000 because of the insistence of America. Because American semiconductor industry, they have set up a lot of semiconductor design houses in India, companies, and they shifted their operations just for making the designs. So they wanted that to be registered so that misappropriation and misuse do not happen. That is why this was done. But if you go and look into the Act Wall got registration certificates so far, only BEL, Bharat Electronics Limited, and Indian Space Research Organization are the Indian company, Indian organizations, government organizations, which are having SIC registration, semiconductor integrated circuit, layout design and registration in India. Because ISRO is space technology, they have several ICs designed in-house. Those layouts are very unique and original to our design. Even last week, we have carried so many satellites, including commercial satellites of Brazil. We have launched in the air and we have collected money. So from Brazil. So it's a commercial launch also, ISRO taking up. It's a low-cost launching compared to US or other countries. So European Space Union, European Space Organization, NASA, ISRO, and China, and few other countries. Where there are probably 5-6 countries in the world who are doing capable of space research and space thing. So those kind of high-tech areas needs get a kind of protections, and these protections are given according to this particular act. Now, the last section under section 3 comes into traditional knowledge, or an aggregation or duplication of known properties of traditionally known component or components. So what we know by traditional knowledge? Traditional knowledge means, which has come of ages. Like we have found in our text and other things. I think I've talked about it in my first session, Introduction to IPR. So India had set up what is known as a traditional knowledge digital library. We call it as a TKDL. So what they do is TKDL provides contents for the ancient text on Indian systems of medicines like Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and Yoga. They take the contents of our Veda, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and then they put it up, translate it, and then put it into 5 international languages, namely English, Japanese, French, German, and Spanish, with the help of information technology tools and an innovative classification system. Okay. So this is basically done to traditional knowledge resource classification, to classify the resources available here. Then you to avoid biopiracy and misappropriation of TK. What happened was, the examples I have given here are the turmeric, neem, and basmati rice patents. In a French company was the healing of wounds. The properties of healing of wound of turmeric is well known, is a traditional knowledge in our system. So people, whenever you get a cut, you just take a turmeric powder and put it on your finger and then try to heal the wound. Similarly, neem, the neem oil, neem leaf, the usage of neem is all written from Ayurveda. Neem and turmeric together has been used in several things. Okay, even your chicken pox and other things, people used to take bath with neem leaves and turmeric put into the water, and then we use it for our treatment. So this is coming from our traditional knowledge. This should not be misappropriated by other countries and taken as a patent. So how do you avoid other countries misappropriating your traditional knowledge? They will not know unless you have a library saying that these are our traditional knowledge. Don't touch this area now. Don't touch, come into that and sign up a non-disclosure agreement with each and everybody, and then ensure that it is not copyright. I mean, it's not infringed upon. Similarly, basmati rice. So the basmati rice is grown in northern Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand and those areas. And America gave a patent to another company, similar kind of a strain of basmati rice, which is known as Texmati, and they tried to patent it. Of course, the neem, turmeric, other patents, our Indian Council of Scientific Research, ICSR people, the chairman, they took up the case directly with the patent officers. And then, so several, many patent applications concerning India's traditional knowledge have been either cancelled or withdrawn, or claims have been made to be amended in several international patent offices, including US and European patent. For example, I said turmeric patent was cancelled in France. Similarly, basmati patent was again removed. We were trying to get a GI for that, geographical indication, which I'll be covering next week. So we talk about the patent prosecution process in India. So I'll just briefly explain what is a patent prosecution. When you say patent prosecution, why we call it as a prosecution? It's a patent registration, but we call it as a prosecution because it has to go through several trials. That is what it means here. So the first one is you will have to file an application, ordinary application, which can be a provisional application or a complete application. But if you are having an innovative product and you want to launch it in the market, but you don't have time to put up all the complete specification to the patent office, you can quickly put your provisional application. What is the invention all about, and then file a provisional application. It is something like you put a reservation in a railway, or when you are traveling, you find that you put your towel or kerchief in your seat, and then you jump into that place. It's something like that to get a priority over. Nobody else can file that particular thing. You will get a priority from that filing of that provisional application. Now, the complete specification is which has to be filed within 12 months after filing of the provisional application. The commercialization can start immediately after provisional application also. You can start selling the product after provisional specification and the original ordinary application has been filed in the patent office. Even if you are not filed a complete application, you say, no, it is only a prototype. I don't know. I'll make some 5 prototype, then piloting, and then only manufacturing goes in. So I made a prototype. It is working fine. Now I want to make some 10 pilots and give it to my 10 different people and then see their feedback and then improve upon it and then make it. So what happens, that may take 1 year time or 6 months time. So in the meantime, you cannot commercially sell it and then go and apply for a patent. So you will get killed in the form of new or novelty. I said the condition, I reiterate the conditions: new or novelty, inventive step, and commercial utility. So commercial utility may be there. Your novelty will be lost if you show it in the market. So before showing it in the market, you have to file your ordinary application with a provisional specification and then start selling the product. And complete specification, you have to file it within 12 months. Immediately after that, the prosecution step involves within 18 months from the date of filing, you will have to ask for publication. So until 18 months are over, it is a period of waiting for you. So you will have to ask for the publication, request for publication. There is a specific form for that. There is a provisional specification. Form 2 is used. Form 2 is also used for complete specification. Then there is for publication, you have a form. So then you have a file a request for examination, which is Form 18. See, now these processes have been expedited now. What happens is, if you are a startup or a SME unit, MSME unit, you can get an early publication. You can request for an early publication, and the early publication will be given to you under Form 12. In case of filing a request for examination, the examination under ordinary application, you can have Form 18, which is 48 months from the date of first filing. However, if you are a startup or a small entity, you can ask for an expedited examination, which comes under Form 18A. It can be filed only online. And once you do that, the examination is done very, very fast. In fact, you get an examination within a month. Within a month of filing. If you ask for early publication, they publish it within 10 days. And if you ask for a expedited examination, they do the examination within a month or 2.
And by the time you get it, you will have to reply. It's all time-bound processes. You have to time-bound the responses given. Once it is examined, you will get a examination of the application will be taken up, and you will get a first examination report, FEP, what you call it as FER, first examination report will come. So there will be issues raised by the examiner, the objections raised by the examiner, that why this patent should not be granted, what are not patentable, or what are the things he will ask. He will pose questions on novelty, inventive step, and commercial use. You will say yes, 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 or no, 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 or yes, novelty yes, inventive step no, commercial utility yes. So that means you have to substantiate on the inventive step what are the things which are done. So you make through the patent application, pass through every stage, and you have to give a reply to the examination report within 60 days or even 6 months. You have 6 months, but when you are doing an expedited thing, you do. And once you give an examination report, the response to the examination report could be that you could issue a second examination report based on that, and you can give a response to second examination report within 60 days. Now, if the examination report is accepted, you may be granted a patent also. If it is not, you may be given an opportunity for hearing under the patent rules. So you go for the patent hearing. The patent hearing can be either personal hearing at the patent controller office, or again before the controller of patent, or video conferencing also. So the whole process of making through the application until the grant or refusal of the application of patent which you are filing is known as patent prosecution in legal terms. Okay. Now let us see what are the types of patent applications we have. As I told, ordinary application, which is ordinary application is nothing but you can file an application. It's an Indian application, provisional specification or complete specification. What is a provisional specification? What is a complete specification? Provisional specification will not have the claims. Provisional specification will not have the claims because a patent application after a specification, a provisional specification or complete specification is a techno-legal document. It's a techno-legal document. The provisional specification contains only the technical features of the document. The complete specification includes the claims. The claims are the legal boundaries you are creating for your product. It is this consists of 2 motors, this consists of so and so, this consists of this consists of that. So all those things are put into the complete specification. So the complete specification, the legality of structuring the claim, because tomorrow once you prosecute the patent and get a patent, later on if there is a infringement case filed, when it has to go for a patent litigation, when you have to approach the district court or the high court for a litigation, the legal claims, whatever you have put, either you want to file a suit against an infringer, you have to necessarily show that the infringer has copied your claims, the legal claims you have made. There can be any number of claims, but there will be a main claim and then a subsequent secondary claims which are based on that. Now, this is what a very important document, which is usually prepared by the patent agents. Because patent agents being technically qualified and legally they have to pass the patent agent examination, and then they are made thorough in the patent law, both drafting as well as the law part of it, and then they have to go forward. Then what you have is a patent application for patent of addition. That means once the patent is granted, it has got 20 years of life. In between, you found that you have added another feature to it. You can add that feature to that, or modification of the already patent invention for an unexpired term of the main patent. That means you cannot, for example, the patent has been granted for 20 years, 10 years have passed. Now you have made an addition to the invention. Now, when you have made an invention, addition to the invention, and then you have, want to have that addition, it can be granted only for the period remaining for the next 10 years. It is for an added period within the unexpired term of the main patent. Even after granting a patent, you can add the patent addition. So divisional application, once you are given the application, you can also, if you have found that I can have 2 patents instead of 1 application, you can split the claims You can split the product into two and then divide it also. You can also file a divisional application. When you go into the patent filing, it will ask all these things, whether you want to file an ordinary application or application for patent addition or a divisional application. The fourth one is a conventional application. Conventional application claiming priority date on the basis of filing in convention countries. So if supposing an American company or a European company wants to file a patent, so they must have claimed of those from the convention countries application. So wherever, whichever time they have filed earlier, that will be the priority date. Because the main important thing is the priority date is very, very important. Whoever will claims the invention to be first, true and first inventor of invention we have seen. So the person who invents the invention first in the world will be granted the patent. That is the meaning of it. So last one is the national phase application under PCT. PCT is administered by WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, which provides for that. So you can apply in the Indian Patent Office itself, whichever country you want, either one country or two country or three country. You can pay the fees here. The examination will be done in India, and then it will be sent to that other country, and they will do the needful. And then if the patent is granted, you will get the patent granted certificate. Okay. So these are the types of patents you have seen. And when we say applications for patents, how do you make an application for patent? An application may be made by any person alone or jointly with two or more number of persons. So section 6 to 15 talks about the procedures for making of applications for patents. So the application is required to be filed with the document, that is application form and duplicate. That's a form 1, then form 2. Form 2 is the complete provisional or complete specification, that is B. C is drawing. If you have a drawing of the invention, you have to attach the drawing. There are specific methods by which the drawing has to be drawn, and it has to be indicated. The parts and other sub-assemblies have to be illustrated in that. Then there is an abstract of the invention. You will have to give an abstract of invention not more than 150 words. The abstract should not be more than 150 words. There is a title of the invention. Title of the invention cannot be more than 15 words. These are stipulated statutory requirements. So you cannot change anything there. Similarly, information and undertaking, listing the number, filing date, and current status of each of foreign patent application in duplicate. That is in form 3. If you already filed in any foreign country, that application also you can file it. Now, form number 5 says declaration of inventorship, where provisional specifications followed by complete specification is followed by complete specification, or in case of a PCT. So you have to file form 5. Supposing you are a power of attorney, you have to give if you are filing through a patent agent, form 28. Okay, these are the things which you will have to follow through. There are a number of applications which are there available online. You can file through that. So as I said, patent is a territorial right which may be commercialized by the patent holder, or it may be licensed to a third party for manufacturing, marketing, or maybe altogether sold or gifted to the third party, depending on the prerogative of the patent holder. Patent holder has authority to do anything with his patent. Patent is considered as the strongest form of intellectual property protection against any kind of infringement. So higher awards, punishments are given. Punishment means, I don't mean this one, damages, I mean, are given in terms of patents, infringement of patents. Now, once you are granted a patent, what can you do with it? You can do, as I said, you can transfer of patents can take place. The transfer of patent is done either by assignment of patent or by license. Assignment of patent involves complete transfer of patent to the assignee, to the person or the entity to whom it is transferred by the assigner, the original patent holder who transfers the patent. So when I say a complete transfer, I mean complete assignment means assignment or licensing. These are the two things for a transfer of patent. Assignment means, like in your physical property, say outright sale, you are selling it totally. In this case, the patent rights are transferred to another person, either a natural person or an entity which is a legal person. And how the assignment is there? You have legal assignment or equitable assignment and mortgage. So you can also mortgage your, like how you do your property mortgage and then but the property will be in your name only. It will not be going into the mortgage's name. So similarly, in equitable assignment also, you are saying that you will give a part of your patent to the person, but the patentee cannot have his name in the patent. That is the point you have to take into consideration. In the legal assignment, you are completely transferring the patent rights to the assignee. Now, licensing. Let's look into license. What are the licenses available? One is voluntary licensing, another is compulsory licensing. So the reasonableness would be decided by the controller of patents. So section 97 of the Patent Act states the government of India through official gazette may provide compulsory licensing of any product at any time after sealing of such patent, if it becomes necessary in the public interest. That's what I told you. The Gleevec drug that I talked about. And now what is happening is, now the current situation is, there are 2 vaccines which are being put in India, manufactured in India, and people are getting these vaccinations done all over the government office. The government of India and the local governments are doing a wonderful job as on date, and protecting people. And this particular vaccine, one is known as Covishield, which is developed by the Serum Institute of from Pune. But the Serum Institute vaccine is nothing but the Oxford vaccine from the UK. Okay, Oxford had collaborated in making this vaccine, but the vaccine is manufactured by this company in India. Similarly, Bharat Biotech from Hyderabad is manufacturing the vaccine called Covaxin, which is from developed from Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR. Now, India has gifted some of these things to various people, and Indian vaccines are cheaper than other vaccines like the Pfizer vaccine in USA or European vaccine. These are all very expensive, $250 it costs, whereas ours costs about $10-15. So the efficacy may be the same, that's not much of a trouble. Now, what people are asking is, the Bharat Biotech, everybody, they have given the clinical trials. It may get into a patent regime by the Indian companies for exporting. But many countries, many developing countries, African countries, other countries who have been given these vaccines free of cost or given at a lower cost by India, they are demanding, especially in African countries, they are demanding not to impose, like, give a compulsory license. Like it should not be left alone to the Bharat Biotech company to make profits. The Bharat Biotech should expose that vaccine technology so that it can be transferred to other people, because it's a pandemic. So do not look at money at this point of time. It's a compelling situation in a pandemic to put in vaccines to all the people concerned. So other countries are demanding, let the technology be transferred to us without a fee, without the patent regime. So in India also, India will look into, try to protect its interests first of all, then try to take it out to the human society as a large later on. So a patent holder has the sole infringement of patent rights. What happens to the infringement? We'll see. And another 5-10 minutes, I think I'll finish off this week's session with success. Another 10 minutes I'll take. A patent holder has a sole right for manufacturing, marketing, and distribution of the invented product. So any third party who is using the same product by way of manufacturing, marketing, or distribution without patent holder's permission amounts to infringement of the patent. So if somebody uses the patent invention without the permission of the patent holder, it becomes an infringement. What all the types of infringement it could be? One is colorable imitation of any technical feature of the invention. Any technical feature of the invention is colorable imitation of the technical feature, means it is similar to that particular invention, could be an infringement of patent. Similarly, immaterial variations in the invention. You take an invention and you just change the color, do something little bit here and there, do modification. I think last week somebody had asked a question that, I make a tricycle which is already existent without a chainless bicycle, just with the gears. He makes some variation to it. Can I do it? If it is an immaterial variation in the invention, it will be treated as infringement. If the variation or the addition added to that invention should be substantial enough to call it as an inventive step. Otherwise, it is an immaterial variation in the invention. Similarly, mechanical equivalence of any technical features of the invention. That is called as, there is what is known as a doctrine of equivalence. Doctrine of equivalence means the same functionality is achieved through mechanical means rather than electronic means. So it could be also a mechanical equivalent of the same invention, which is also an infringement. Then most important thing is the consideration of essential features of the invention. The essential features of the invention is the focus area. with which the thing will be discussed. So for that, the doctrine of pith and marrow, we would have studied about doctrine of pith and substance. Now here the doctrine of pith and marrow, the doctrine of pith and marrow states that when deciding about infringement of a patent, it should be considered whether the essence of the invention has been infringed. It's not the product, whether the essence of the invention, what is new or novelty, whether that has been infringed upon is what is to be considered in the invention. So what are the remedies available for infringement? So the remedies available are injunction or damages or an account of profit. So either of them you can't claim both. You can't claim damages and an account of profits. So either you claim damages or account of profits. So damages, as all of you might be knowing, maybe it's the damages to the goodwill, as well as accounts of profit is purely how many the other person has sold that kind of a product, colorable limited product, or which is an infringing product. How many he has sold? Take it from his book of accounts. Work out the profits. If he has sold, what would be the profit? So you work on the calculation basis and then take an accounts of profit. Or you can take a calculate the profit plus the damages of goodwill. You claim only damages in that case. But most of the time, the moment if you have a patent, this thing, and you're able to establish that the other product is an infringing product, and interim injunction is the immediately granted stuff, which without any question, it will be interim injunction will be granted. Later on, these damages or account and profits can be claimed through the suit, and that can be handled by anybody. Now, we talk about patent agents. Section 122 talks about the patent agents, registered Indian patent agents. Why do we need a patent agent? Because as I said, they are SMEs, subject matter experts. So there are people who are with, who can be eligible to become a patent agent. The people who are of 21 years of age and who have a degree in science or engineering, and then who have passed the stipulated examination conducted by the Indian Patent Office, and having paid the fees for this, or they should have been the controller of patents or the examiner of patents for a period of 10 years or more. They are also eligible, but they have to pay the fees, prescribed fees, and then go about doing it. So the Indian patent agents, once they do, like how we are registered with our roll numbers, advocates are enrolled with the roll number, they also give a certificate with a enrolled patent agent number, like IN means India /PA-3094. So this is the patent agent number. So this is my patent agent number. So this is how it is denoted, like similar to other things. So what is the power of the patent agent? Patent agent can do up to prosecution. Unless he is legally qualified, he cannot take up the litigation, patent litigation in the court. He can only, patent agent, mostly if they are technical, they can do only patent prosecution, appearing before the quasi-judicial authorities of the patent controllers and the IPAB, and then trying to get the patent granted for their client, drafting the specification. These are the acts which are done by the patent agent. Even if a foreign company wants to file a patent or attend a hearing, they have to hire the Indian patent agents to go and appear on their behalf before the controller of patents. In this case, there was an amendment which came that advocates are not eligible to, earlier it was there that advocates are also eligible to appear before these authorities, but that was taken away by an amendment, and there is some case pending in our Madras High Court for reinstating that particular section to allow advocates also to appear before these quasi-judicial authorities. Now, let's conclude by discussing about the challenges in the patents. What are the challenges in the patents? I said evergreening of patents is one of the issues. So one of the issues, evergreening of patent means once a patent reaches its life of 20 years, the company which is owning the patent, or the patent holder who is owning the patent, will try to increase the life of the patent by adding something to it and then call it as another patent. In effect, he wants to get hold of it indefinite period, which is a factor which has to be nullified by the patent office all over the world, all the patent offices around the world. So evergreening of patent is one of the challenges in the patents. Then second is the funding issues. To create an invention, it needs a lot of money. See, even for drug, we may say Bharat Biotech, they would have spent money. Indian Council of Medical Research, they would have spent money. Everybody would have spent money to develop a vaccine. It is not over a short period of time. hiring manpower, time, effort, and money is put. A lot of funding issues are there in terms of developing a product. I'm not referring only for pharma companies, but also electronic gadgets and other things. People do different type of cars, automobiles, mechanical engineering products, everything. So there are funding issues associated with developing patents. So that is another challenge. Then commercialization of patents. See, what happens is any university or student or somebody, they might have taken up, the patent, but he might have got a patent granted. A student, a research scholar, PhD student would have got a patent, but he may not know how to commercialize it. See, holding a patent without commercialization is of no use. You are preventing somebody to do something and you own the right. But what are you going to do with that exclusive right when it is not exploited commercially? If it is not going to fetch money, what is the point? As we say in Tamil, Yetu Surakai, Puttu Godavar. You will have a Yetu Surakai in the form of a patent certificate. What are you going to do with it unless you commercialize it? So there are commercialization challenges. There should be somebody who would be willing to license it and then say, okay, I will take a patent and then I'll make the product, I'll give you a royalty or something like that. You should do. Or this fellow should be able to say, okay, take my patent at 10 lakh rupees and then give me the money. I'll do another invention. You go away with this invention and commercialize it. So finding a balance between this is what is an issue right now. Then awareness issues. People are not aware of what all the patents, facilities, patents available to them. Is awareness issues are also there. Awareness is less. Of course, it is improving over a period of time with the government bringing in startup ecosystem, and a lot of things are being talked about in startup companies. So IP has become really a big intellectual property, and especially patents have become an important issue nowadays. This was earlier, but it is changing gradually. And delay in grant of patent, this is there for the normal thing, but the government has come up with a new amendment now. Firstly, they have eased it out in such a way that they, for the startup companies and the small entities, the government is granting patent. Nowadays, you can get a patent. Earlier, if you file a patent, you will get a patent in 4 years to 6 years period. Okay, 4 to 6 years used to be the period of getting a patent granted. Out of 20 years, 4 years is gone. So that, of course, only when you get, you can take action against infringement. Only when a patent is granted, you can take an infringement action. Until such time, you cannot take a infringement action when the patent grant is pending. Patent pending, you cannot take an action. So there was a huge delay in grant of patents, a lot of patent faster. Even within 12 months, you are getting patents granted in India. That is important. Other one is balancing competition and cooperation is another important thing, which is you have to balance the competition and see whether you need to patent it or you protect it as a trade secret. These are all important things which people would like to know. And how to cooperate. See, you can even cooperate with the competition with your own patent and then balance it, saying that this is a new technology, use this and we work on a royalty sharing thing. So seventh is basically, it is a patent law is a specialized technical field because it's a techno-legal documentations are required with limited professionals of patent agent with R&D knowledge are available. So that results in the cost of patent services being a little high, but it's reducing now. As I said, the delay in granting patent, I said 12 months for the small entity and other things they've done. Now the government has done that the universities, the government universities, not private universities, government universities also, those who are doing research work, they'll be allowed to register their patents at a faster pace, similar to startups and small industries. So that's a welcome move. It's a recent amendment which has come into picture. So as I said, the cost of patent services are more. So I mean, a typical patent, for example, the attorney fees as a patent attorney fees would cost about a lakh of rupees for a patent filing, plus the patent office fees which you have to pay. And then for each and every action which is there for the first examination report, and then you have the publication request. There is what we call it as an office action. We call it as an office action. Whatever the patent office sends it to you, you have to give a time-bound replies to the office actions by the patent office. Office action means patent office actions. You have to give a time-bound reply of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days like that. So the action, the counters and other things which you are going to file matters. So those things will be there expensive. By the time you get a patent, you will have to look at weigh the cost of patent services, whether it is doable or not. But nowadays it is reducing slowly with the increase in the quantity and volumes. There is going to be a decrease in the cost factor for the patent services. So these are the challenges in the patent arenas which are faced presently. So let's look forward that everything eases out as we go about it.